Hey, hey, welcome back, guys. All right, so let's get into this. So, this is going to be a love message, I'm sure, because that's what I intended first. But then I felt like I should also refer to it as a specific message because I already had a thought pop into my head, and that's when I usually do those specific messages. And I had pictured in my mind someone's eyes that were really quite lovely, quite remarkable. Very specifically, someone who has what they call the senpaku eyes, or the like the more scleral visibility, where there's not like mine. My eyes are like hound dog eyes. my, I don't. You can't see the whites all around unless I, like widen my eyes. To a comical degree, but someone who has eyes that naturally are much more noticeable, and you can see the sclera the way around them. I personally think that look of an eye is particularly attractive. And so maybe that's why I say it's someone with remarkable eyes, because I always think those are really lovely eyes. It's not uncommon. It's not common. Obviously, I don't have those eyes, so I think it's really exotic and beautiful. But that came into my mind, and I don't know, I really don't know what color eyes they were. It was just, I had like the image in my head of somebody with really lovely eyes. Um, and, maybe I would say communicative eyes, perhaps. So I don't know what that's going to mean just yet, but we'll keep that in mind. We've got the 10 of Pentacles and we've got this King of Cups, and they are both sideways. So we could be talking about more than one person. We could talk about a shared energy here. Hi, everyone. Great to see you all tonight. AC, Lulu, Miss So the Peaceful Observer, Travis Rhodes. Wonderful to see you, everyone. We got the Strength card sideways as well. Okay, we don't have a real solid storyline built out yet because everything is either shared energy or it's the question mark. We can see the scaffolding of the story, right? We have possibly some strong Leo, possibly some strong water energy, and some earth energy, but we have the desire for building something. We have the courage to do it, or we could have the courage to do it, and we have the love to do it. So we've got all of the, let's say it's like someone has a dream and they've actually been assembling all of the items that they would need to make this dream become a reality. But all these cards are still sideways, so I don't know that they're happening yet. Maybe this is someone who is hoping to find this. Okay, we have an Eight of Cups. There's a great song by the band Lucius. I think it's, I'll probably misquote the title of it, but it's like Looking for the Man I'll Never Find, I think is the title of it. It doesn't have to be about a man or a woman. It's just that song popped into my head just now. But this feels like we have a divine feminine because of that Eight of Cups, who is like on a quest. Like she got this idea. She's got the desire and the power to do this, to go find what she's looking for. And if you look closely, we actually have the outline of a feminine on this King of Cups card. We have all female lions or lionesses on the Strength card. And then we have a feminine here on the Ten of Pentacles. So let's go ahead and commit right now to this being the story of a divine feminine who is really ready to seek what it is she's looking for. And I think she's pretty clear on what she wants, but she hasn't maybe found the person to build it all with. So she seems to be out on a bit of a walkabout, a bit of a ramble. We've got the Four of Cups here. And here she is sitting on the fence, kind of in Zen mode. And she's kind of meditating in front of this tree that's been, topiaried into the shape of a heart. Normally, the Four of Cups is missed opportunities, it's disappointment, it's also illusions, and it can be boredom. But this card carries with it a little bit of a different energy of, like, if anything, she might be wondering, why is it that I haven't found it yet? And, X amount of years on this planet have been spent questing for what I want. And I feel like I've got what I needed to bring to the table. I got the love in my heart. I've got the ability to give. I've got the ability to share. So how come I don't find anyone to share it with? That's probably the way that I would start describing this. She'd like to go ahead and do this. Okay, Hanged Man. It's funny because I'm wondering if she's got somebody on her mind and she's like, I I have met somebody that I could imagine building with, but they don't seem to be ready to build with me. She might even be saying, how come I meet multiple people in my life, since we do two masculines on this Hanged Man card? Why do I meet multiple people that are always unavailable, unprepared, unready to build with me? How come I'm always the one in go position and they're always the one in stagnancy? She could have a habit of falling for Pisces. She could have a habit of falling for partners that are, sexy and broody, possibly, maybe some broody. Although right now I have that other song by Young Fathers coming into my head. Oh, why, do I always end up with Geminis or Scorpios? See, I don't want adios to get close. Oh, it drives me nuts. I can never remember the title of that song. But in it, I will say that the chorus has something along the lines of something about bad men are obvious. Mama said the good men are like rare, but bad men are obvious. I'm sorry, I can't remember the title of that song, but Young Fathers is another amazing band. We have a Three of Pentacles and the Hermit. She definitely has met multiple partners that she could have seen a future, but you notice she's always the one in the lead. She's always the one leading. And she's starting to question that, I think. She's starting to question, why do I always lead the way, perhaps? She may have met a couple of water signs. She may have met a couple of earth signs. But in every case, she's the one who's trying to be the architect of building with people. So it's a little bit like she has a dream and she's been looking for somebody a little bit like a Lego piece to click on in. And I'm thinking she's starting to wonder, is maybe that not the best way to approach? I'm not saying she's like bossy and looking for somebody to just like snatch and be like, yep, you'll do. Let's click you in to the place. I'll call you the man, or, the partner, or whatever. It's, supply whatever gender we wish here. But I don't think she's doing it in a bossy way. I think she's just somebody who had a pretty clear vision of, come on, this looks like an amazing life that she wants to have, right? Loving, open-hearted, kind, stable, comfortable. She's looking for somebody she can, double her resources with, so together they can build a lovely house or empire. She feels like she wants somebody who's got the kind of like the courage to, to maybe like have some convictions and really put in energy and build a great life. It doesn't look like she's, even if she's got a pretty clear vision for herself, it doesn't look like she's being bossy about it. It just looks like she's got a pretty awesome idea of what a good life would look like. So that's kind of her dream. But her dream is to also share it with someone. And she doesn't find it with anyone, from what I can tell. So she's contemplating that right now, which is probably pretty good, because we might discover that there's something else in this story for her, something she hasn't thought of yet. Let's see if we can turn to the universe here, and we'll see what that is. If she's pausing and saying, year after year, I keep trying basically to offer an amazing, or I think I made myself into a decent partner who would want a good life together, but I never meet somebody who wants to build it with me. And instead I meet people that I would have to lead. And sometimes they act like they want that, and then they don't. They change their mind. Is it, what am I doing wrong here? So universe, it's not that I think she's doing anything wrong, but let's go ahead and answer it that way first. Universe, is she quote unquote doing something wrong in having a beautiful goal for her life? The world, the universe says, hell no, nothing wrong with that. Go for, first off, the world is a big place with lots and lots and lots and lots of people, right? The world is about new beginnings. It's about endings. It's about new cycles, but it is about cycles, right? So the beautiful thing about anything that is cyclical, think of a clock going round and round, that also denotes passage of time, which usually represents maturity, which represents, we're different. Every time we cycle around or orbit around something, we have a chance to do things a little different. We're a little more refined. We know a little bit more. We're a little bit smarter because we've been around this block before. So it's not a bad thing that she's had like experiences where she didn't find the right person yet. She's learning more and more about and like refining her quest and refining perhaps who she would choose. Now, the universe also reminds her here we live on a planet that we think is huge, but it's not so big. There's, 8 billion plus of us here. And that's a lot of people to pick from. But again, the world moves in small circles. Her chances of meeting somebody wonderful are sky high. Just because she hasn't yet, the universe says maybe you just haven't refined what it is you're really looking for. You got to really know what your list is. So perhaps she has been thinking about what she would like to offer, right? She has kind of put herself in the lead consistently. So the masculine energy, like we see on the King of Cups, even though we see her on it as a feminine, a masculine energy is simply the energy of the sun. It's I project outward. I will, perhaps make that first move. Whereas the feminine energy is the energy of the moon, and it's the I'll gravitate and bring things toward me and then nurture those things. So it seems like she keeps being the person to like lay out the format for people, and maybe she keeps being in the position of I offer this. I keep offering it to people, but they don't seem to want to accept. But maybe she's quote unquote doing that wrong. Maybe she should be drawing someone toward her instead of trying to roll out the plan and offer it to people. Like, here's this ready-made thing. All you have to do is say yes. So maybe she should think a little differently about how to attract what she wants, because there's lots and lots of options, and she's refining bit by bit, is what the universe says. She's refining and becoming wiser. But I would just suggest there is something here about maybe change tactics just a little bit and instead attract someone instead of her having to go out and offer this amazing life plan towards someone. We do also have the universe very gently saying to her, darling, you might have a wound somewhere that you haven't noticed yet. And that could have been compounded. If she's been through any cyclical behavior where she keeps trying to find someone to give a good life to, maybe she's one of those individuals where if she looks back at some old patterns that were set for her, it came from some old wounding. Like, let's say, for example, she had to grow up too fast. She had to be a protector or defender of her family. She had to become a breadwinner or something to help out the adults in her life. There are many things in life that set us up to always have to be the person that we have to rush up and give to someone first. That's what we think our role is. And so I'm thinking that the universe is not saying, whoa, simmer down. Instead the universe is like, darling, maybe think about it a little bit. Like, why would you have to go and offer your amazing plan to somebody instead of assuming that a partner would co-create with you? The right partner would put in 50% of a plan with you instead of you having to have a ready-made plan and offer it to someone. Maybe that's the thing she's supposed to break away from, and she hasn't done that yet. That could be a cyclical thing that she keeps finding herself doing, and the universe is like, but you're getting closer and closer to healing. Because I think she's getting a little bit tired, perhaps, or a little fed up with constantly trying to offer this love plan to partners that ultimately aren't ready. Oh, that's a great plan, but I don't really know if I want to accept your offer. She might be getting fed up, which could be a good thing, because at some point she's going to be like, I'm sick of like offering some huge, amazing package deal. You know what? If somebody wants me, maybe they should offer me something that I want. It could be good. That could be, instead of an indicator of her getting frustrated or, tarnished, maybe that would be an indicator of her actually healing, because she's no longer trying to offer the full package and lay it all out and have pre-thought everything. Here's where the house could be. This is what the house could be like. I've already got a whole bunch of money saved to buy a house. I've already got a down payment. All you got to do is come in and just like join me, and we can just, I'll love you, and it'll just be great. She doesn't have to do it all, is what I think the universe is very gently nudging her toward. Look, I'm probably saying this, like an ogre, but I think the universe is giving it in the most gentle, supportive ways. So forgive me if my vocabulary sucks. We've got a six of sacred circles. Okay, so here I would argue the universe is being pretty blunt now and saying, sweetheart, you're not doing anything wrong other than you deserve somebody to come to you. You deserve that. You've already put down a foundation and a root. We know that you can build anything. Your tree of life is very independent. It's very unique. You've built yourself. Anybody who meets you, they can see who you are. Let somebody who's really drawn to what you have to offer come and find you. Okay, well and good. That totally makes sense. But universe, how come she hasn't met that yet? Let's try to answer that, because otherwise I don't see how that's really an answer for her. I can see the universe is like, she doesn't have to keep thinking that she's got to lay out these offers. She just needs to receive. But how does she either attract that, or like, what is her next step? Because we need to help her get over that gap, right? If the universe is like, oh, don't do so much, don't think that you got to give it all, just attract. But how does she do that? How does she attract? We have the King of Swords. Okay, so with the King of Swords here, this is about truth. The King of Swords is somebody thoughtful and logical, somebody who would want to get to know her, somebody who would want to communicate with her. I almost feel like the best route for her to meet someone is through an intellectual pursuit. This doesn't mean that she's not flashy and sexy and gorgeous, but I don't think that that's what she's looking for. I think maybe that's what she's had, that she's attracted people that thought she was super hot, but here she was looking for a long-term partner. And instead she kept getting people that, were like, oh man, she's smoking. And she's like, yeah, but how about we build something? Oh, well, I was really just here because you're smoking. I don't know that she's considered that. This feels like because she's been so serious about wanting to like build this wonderful, loving connection. And I think instead she assumes that people that are attracted to her would have the same perspective, that of course they'd want to build with her. And she kept dating the wrong ones. I think she needs somebody who's an intellectual equal first and foremost. Somebody who, while they might think she's smoking hot, they're not going to go after her looks first, or just, whatever, be a hit and run lover, or whatever it is that others have been looking for. It's kind of cute because I think that that's something that has like not even factored in her brain. I don't think she would have conceived that, like, maybe she doesn't have a very, what do I want to say, like arrogant bone in her body, like not even enough to look in the mirror and be like, oh yeah, sometimes people just want me because they think I'm attractive. Like, I don't even know if that computes for her, because all of her energy has been right from the gate. We've seen her as somebody who's always been looking for something serious and long-term. It hasn't been about attractiveness. It's been about somebody real. Now maybe this makes more sense why I was picturing somebody with like really remarkable eyes. Because when you look at someone and you make eye contact and you're really trying to get to know who they are, they always say the eyes are the window to the soul. Maybe that's what she hasn't really had. Maybe she's had people that, look her up and down and think she's gorgeous or whatever, but she hasn't had somebody who like was looking into her eyes, into her soul, trying to get to know her. And I'm wondering if that is the thing that she literally had. It hasn't even crossed her mind that that's why she kept ending up with people that weren't there for a long time. They were there for a good time. I don't think she's arrogant enough to have imagined that she's like a hottie. that's kind of adorable, because the universe is saying, honey, you gotta connect with somebody intellectually, somebody who wants to know your mind, somebody that also that you find really intellectually stimulating. She might have been going more for emotions, and she was like emotionally able to bond to those past romantic partners because there was like a physical connection, but she didn't realize they were more after the physical connection, where she was operating from the emotions. And the universe is suggesting operate from the intellect. Then you build the bond. Then you get to the 10 of sacred circles. That's the 10 of pentacles. Imagine, could you really picture like the day-to-day grind with a particular person. She's got to be able to picture that. And I'm betting that the other people that she dated in the past or had, situationships, relationships with in the past, I'm thinking that if she really evaluates, there's no way she could have fathomed those people of the past being with her in the day to day. Real life is not glamorous. Real life is, you got to clean your toilets in the bathroom, got to floss your teeth. Real life is, as we age, we get problems. We sometimes fall down and, break a leg, break a wrist, and you're going to help your partner wipe their butt. Like that's real life. That might not have been, if she really thinks about it, that might not have been the kinds of people that she dated. Could she have seen them being that kind of partner? If something happened, would they have stood by her side? Would they have, shown up and taken care of her? Because, real life is gritty and boogery and, stinky and all of that. So better to meet someone and connect with somebody because she wants long-term, right? She wants to build. It's what she's always wanted to build, with something stable, like a family, a community, a home. So she's probably needing to start with somebody who's more real. I'll just say it that way. More logical, somebody maybe a little older, maybe somebody who's lived through some life. Now, sometimes if we're talking about what kind of person she might mesh better with, a King of Swords can be somebody who has some pretty significant responsibilities. Lots of times they can even be people that are a little bit like they don't have a lot of fun. Sometimes they get real serious because they have career paths and things. They gravitate toward things that require I'll say not routine necessarily, but you got to do things right. So they can be the people that wear, uniforms, and they have, like, let's say it's somebody who has to follow a procedural, like, medical doctors, public servants, firefighters, anyone who has something where it's like, look, we're playing for keeps here. You make a mistake and it could cost something a lot more than just, oh, whoops, had a bad day, dropped a cup of coffee. Like sometimes or let's put it this way, they might work as a barista, but even that, they think about it. They do it right. They have a reason to perform at a high function. And they tend to say the reason you do this is because it's the better way to do it. It's streamlined, it's tried, true, and tested. So they're cerebral and they tend to take on responsibility in anything that they do, because they do want to do it right. And I could see that would be a great match for her. And if she's never dated somebody like that, then of course she hasn't found the person to build with, because she hasn't met somebody serious enough to build with. And if she hasn't met somebody who wanted to know her mind or was attracted to who she is or could talk all night to her, because we got kind of a nighttime thing. If she can't sit up and actually talk about real things with somebody all night long and stay interested in, being around them, then how on earth would she have ever built a lifetime with someone? And I'm willing to bet if she thinks back, those other people that she tried dating, it could have not gotten much past the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase is fun because you think that you're talking about serious stuff, but you really aren't, because you haven't done serious stuff yet. You haven't faced serious upheaval, the kinds of stuff that really test us in life when you're in the honeymoon phase. That's why everything's kind of fun and it's sexy and it's good times. I'm thinking that's more the people that she ended up dating without really realizing it. So that's maybe what the breakdown here is. It's great that she's astute enough to say, okay, why am I not finding what I'm looking for? What am I doing wrong? What am I missing here? And in this story, the universe, I think, has come up with some pretty solid, nudges in the right direction, because it's asking her to look more at herself and who she's been picking and realizing, maybe I've been thinking that the people that were attracted to me they must be attracted to me for the same reasons that I would be attracted. No, darling, no, you needed to interview a little bit more and interview a little differently. Okay, so let me just ask this, universe, just because I'm interested. Has she met King of Swords type characters in the past and not even recognized it? Has she not been aware of people that maybe wanted to get to know her? Yeah, in fact, there's one even right now that might be very interested in her. Somebody very honorable. He wears silver um, armor, and that's always going to be like honor and nobility. He rides a white horse, so pure intentions. There is somebody even now that is a king of swords who, if she expressed any interest in him, he would be all about getting to know her. Whomever he is, we see him with dark hair here, we see him with blonde hair here, doesn't matter. But there is somebody right now, a king of swords quality person, who would very much like to get to know her better. And she just hasn't noticed him. Why hasn't she noticed him, universe? Let's get blunt on this. Prince of Wands. Because she was kind of still busy trying to figure out player types. She was kind of oblivious to him and this kind because they're not as flashy. Like a king of swords is not going to be super flashy. A king of wands is always flashy. So she may have been just a little bit more, drawn. I'm not saying drawn to, um, people that were just, oh, she was looking for the good lookers herself. But rather, I think she was just very confused about why would certain people come toward her if they weren't interested in all the same things that she was. So it's just taking her time to understand the dynamic of attraction and how somebody could just want her body and not have any long-term intentions. That was like a mystifying concept for her for a while. She's shifting gears out of that, is what it seems like, because she's certainly asking for information about that. By the way, she could be a Virgo. I didn't mention that, but we did have her as a hermit there. So universe, do we have a final message? Do we have a final, we have Princess of Sacred Circles. It's time to start having different kinds of dialogue with different kinds of people. And with that Princess of Sacred Circles here, we've got, certainly we have like a really lovely energy of, starting a conversation. This would be the Page of Pentacles in any other deck. So starting out by giving some energy of, an offering. Is she going to be talking to that King of Swords type person? Three of Sacred Circles. Why, yes, she is. She may just start paying attention to a completely different type of person. And if she has somebody that pops up in her mind that she realizes has been interested in getting to know her, maybe they've been a little bit more shy, she's going to make time to talk to them also. She's like one-on-one conversation is what's on the horizon. I don't know if this is somebody that she's going to see at some function anyway, and she's planning on, you know what, I think I want to talk to somebody totally different. Maybe I'll sit off in the corner and chit chat with them at that, whatever work gathering, or, on Saturday night when colleagues get together, or, whatever, at the end of a church function, or, whatever it may be. She knows somebody's been looking her direction. And it could be that that is the person with the really lovely eyes. It could be that whomever this better choice is for her is someone who is respectfully not quite approached her yet, not because they're fearful, but because they're waiting for her to give them the signal that she'd like to talk to them. I think she's going to be given the signal. I think it's about time. All right, I'm going to leave this one here, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. So good to see you, Eduardo Jimenez. Thank you so much. Really good to see you. You guys, awesome to catch everybody. Aries, thank you, honey. Miss So, the Peaceful Observer, wonderful to see you, sweetie. Hi, Sabrina. Calm Sea, Apple Holo. Hey. You guys, thanks again. Victoria Knox, good evening to you also, love. Kristen Pooh, how are you? Travis Rhodes is in the house. Hi, Melly. Great to see you. Patricia. Hi, honey. Hi, Nani. Ophenium, how are you? Rice and beans, seashells. Nice to see you. All right, everybody. Nats with Juno Wild Wonder Tea. I almost missed you. Hi, guys. Miss Moody, hi. Oh, Melly, green eyes are so beautiful. It's so rare. Not a you, Angel. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're so kind. Thank you guys for giving it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Queen Bee, hi. Oh, sweetheart, wonderful to catch you, and I'm really glad. I'm really glad to see you anytime you're in or out of town. Happy travels if you're still traveling. But thank you so much, hon. Hi, Shay. All right, you guys. Sweet dreams if you're off to bed tonight, or have a happy day if your day is just beginning. Kung Fu Panda. Hi, April Fresh. Eliana. Hi, sweetheart. All right, you guys. Forgive me if I missed anybody. Bye for now. Buenas noches. All right. Bye, guys.